What do you want to say to people who aren't saved?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say the gospel. I mean, to be honest with you,
That's it. Just the gospel.
The gospel. Okay. Like, I would just say, there is a God that formed you, that made you, that is deeply in love with you, that values you, that doesn't want, to have eternity without you. But like all of us, we've all done things. We've messed up. We've done things wrong, and we've said things we shouldn't have said, and Lord knows about our thoughts. And so, I mean, we've been separated from God, but that's, I think, the thing for me. He still loves. He still cares, and so that's why Christ came and died. And so, for individuals that aren't saved, aren't sure about Christ, to me, the biggest thing is like Jesus. Like, what are we going to do about Jesus? Like, he's one of the most historically documented figures. So I guess the question really comes back to, like, who is he? And if he really did come and die for us, and his death is pretty well recorded, and so if he died for us, and if he rose again, and maybe that's the biggest if of it all, but if he died for us to take all those things that we have done or said or thought upon him, and he did that for us because of his love for us, that's the thing for me that I'd want to know about. I want to look into. I want to explore. If I'm not saved, like, if there really was a God who loved me that much, I'd want to at least give the time to look at it, to think about it. And I will say this to individuals that maybe would say, I once was saved, or I once was in a church, and they've left the church because of issues in the church, and that's why they're not following Christ now. I would say, I'm sorry the church presented such a horrible, painful picture of who Christ is and of who God is, and that's actually not who he is. He's not he's, like, if you've seen people in the church act mean, or they act with anger, or you've seen pastoral or spiritual leaders and they fall, and that has caused you to have your faith shaken and just say, forget it. I guess for me, I'd appeal back to, but if Jesus really did die, like, regardless of what people in the church have done, because people in the church from point one have done horrible things in the name of Christ. And so, but if Jesus really did die on the cross and he really did rise from the grave, that's worth every single bit of your consideration. And to think about it, consider it, maybe even pick up the Bible and just read through the accounts again. I'm not even asking you to believe them right now, but at least read them and just get back to that. And because for me, if that's real, if that's true, then that actually is where salvation can lie, and where you can find forgiveness from what you've done, and from the shame and from the guilt of it, and that you can walk with Christ and with God and begin to, walk with him. And to me, walking with him is, I don't know how to say it, it's the best thing ever. Not that all our circumstances are great or all our situations work out wonderful, but just that we know that he's with us. And so, and we're not alone in this thing, and that we are loved, and we are valued, and we do have an identity found in him, and not just from things in this world that are temporal and eventually going to pass away. So if God loved you enough to send Christ, that to me is worth all of the consideration and reflection you can give. And if Christ died, rose from the grave, consider it, reflect upon it. And then if you come to the conclusion that, yeah, this is God, this is what he did, and I want to follow Christ, it really is as simple as saying, God, I'm sorry for the things I've done that separated me from you. God, I believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he died on the cross for me and rose from the grave so that I could have life in him, and I want to follow Christ for the rest of my days. You do that, and then try to find some body of believers, some church or fellowship of believers, if you're in college, a campus ministry, something that you can walk this out with in Christ and grow and learn about God and who he is. So.